It appears that Representative Liz Cheney has been canceled by the Republican Party. What was it because of her push to get America into the incredibly disastrous and expensive Iraq war started by George W. Bush? Was it the fact that she was complicit in the rhetoric of widespread voter fraud? All the way back during the Obama administration, not pushing back on her daddy's insistence that there is widespread voter fraud. Oh my God. The fact that she believed Obama was sympathetic to jihadists or any of that? No, of course not. No. Liz Cheney has been canceled for not being loyal enough to former President Donald Trump. Because we knew that. On Tuesday night, Cheney once again went after fellow Republicans for continuing to support Trump and to spread the big lie about the election, so-called mad widespread voter fraud. They can't seem to find. They say it's there. They're saying, oh, it's there. We found it. Oh, okay, where's your evidence? We don't have any, but we know it's there. Look at these sketchy YouTube videos. The evidence. Anyway, here's some of what Liz Cheney said that, of course, got her canceled. Take a look.
A former president who provoked a violent attack on this Capitol in an effort to steal the election has resumed his aggressive effort to convince Americans that the election was stolen from him. He risks inciting further violence. Millions of Americans have been misled by the former president. They have heard only his words, but not the truth, as he continues to undermine our democratic process, sowing seeds of doubt about whether democracy really works at all. Remaining silent and ignoring the lie emboldens the liar. I will not participate in that. I will not sit back and watch in silence while others lead our party down a path that abandons the rule of law and joins the former president's crusade to undermine our democracy.
All right, so that didn't go over well with the rest of the party, obviously. So earlier this morning, House Republicans ousted Cheney as conference chair in a voice vote. Voice vote, meaning that nobody wanted to be or bothered to be on the record. Either that or it was obviously overwhelmingly unanimous. So overwhelmingly unanimous that it wasn't even a question of how many people would actually vote against that. Those are the two different ways that you can take this voice vote. Either way, it shows that the Republican Party is essentially a bunch of sycophants who aren't even brave enough to stand up to the former president who incited insurrection. They're there to kiss Donald Trump's ass. Now, if you're going to be a pathetic little bootlicker, you would think that you would be more open about it, right? In the case that, they were doing a voice vote because they didn't want to go on the record, or, again, just the fact that they're basically a cult. Be open about being a cult. Why do it in a secret ballot? Why do it on a voice vote that is hidden from the public? We would like to know who would decide to put, Donald Trump over everything else. Now, after all, it seems like in today's GOP, all you have to do to get in positions of power is to deep throat Donald Trump's boot. That said, there's no good people in this story. They're all terrible people, Liz Cheney included. Okay. Now the GOP itself is terrible. A lot of their voter base is largely terrible and or heavily propagandized to be terrible. They live in a completely different reality than the rest of us. And Liz Cheney, again, helped build that. She built that. We shouldn't be giving her credit for accepting objective reality. That's how low, understand, it's how low the bar is for the Republican Party right now. And you got Democrats like, oh my God, Liz Cheney standing up, arbiter of truth and justice, and the American way. She's one of us now. Welcome to the resistance, Liz Cheney. No. But interestingly enough, that little acceptance of this reality was more than enough to get her booted from party positions. even though on policy, she's actually one of the most conservative Republicans in the House. It's not about policy, though. The GOP has no policy anymore. The GOP is a cult. That's what the Republican Party is. And if you openly challenge the cult leader, you're done. You're done. So now, before the vote, this was during a closed-door meeting, according to a source familiar with the remarks. Quote, "We cannot let the former president drag us backward and make us complicit in his efforts to unravel democracy. Down that path lies our destruction and potentially the destruction of our country. If you want leaders who will enable the spread of his destructive lies, then I'm not your person. You have plenty of others to choose from. That will be their legacy." Well, she's absolutely right about that. There's no shortage of Trump sycophants. People who probably personally detest Donald Trump, but because of the power, because of the fact that over 60% of the base believes in Donald Trump's the big lie, and they will, not vote for you. They'll primary you if you don't come out and give credence to the bullshit. These people are too afraid to actually do the right thing, even if they personally detest Donald Trump. Sad baby. Now, one of the people that they found to replace Liz Cheney is actually Representative Elise Stefanik. So now, interestingly enough, she has not only earned the endorsement of Donald Trump, but also House Leader Kevin McCarthy and Whip Steve Scalise. And the interesting part about that is that Stefanik is actually less conservative on issues when it comes to than Cheney. The difference is loyalty to Donald Trump. She's just, willing to lie about the things that Donald Trump wants her to lie about, as opposed to the standard things that conservatives tend to lie about, like, trickle down. Meaning that it's never, again, for them been about policy whatsoever. So now, after her cancellation, this is what she told reporters during an interview, specifically on Donald Trump. "I will do everything I can to ensure that the former president never again gets anywhere near the Oval Office." Now, there's, of course, reasons for this. And again, it comes down, I think, to a little bit of selfishness. But she continues by saying, "We have seen the danger that he continues to provoke with his language. We have seen his lack of commitment and dedication to the Constitution. And I think it's very important that we make sure whomever we elect is somebody who will be faithful to the Constitution. Perhaps Liz Cheney." I'm not saying it's not outside the realm of possibility. Okay. Could she run in 2024? Look, whenever something like this happens, there's always a question of, are you doing this for your own political, aspirations? And when it comes to politicians, the answer is almost always yes. Yes, it is. Usually. So there you go. Now, that said, she is right about Trump, but at the same time, her cancellation is one of her own making. Again, what she has traditionally supported in the past is what built Donald Trump to begin with. So, and I say that because she had supported torture. She had supported the wars that were based on lies. She had supported allegations of voter fraud. In fact, during the Bush administration, the White House, according to reporter Jonathan Larson, I want to give him credit here for this great reporting. Back during the Bush administration, the White House had been pushing federal prosecutors to gin up voter fraud cases in order to justify voter suppression. It's the same old song for Republicans. They don't want black people voting, so they invent fraud. And so they then take the fraud that they invented, even without any evidence, and say, oh, well, look at all the fraud that's happening. We better do voter ID. We better do voter suppression measures to stop the rampant fraud that we can't prove. It's been the same old story since at least the 1980s, when at least they came out and admitted it and said, yeah, we don't want more people voting because when more people vote, we lose. godfather of the conservative movement. I don't know how many times I have to show that video of the Goo syndrome. You should look it up, since I don't have it available right now. But it's a Republican basically admitting, yeah, we don't want more people to vote, so we're going to try to shut it down. That's it. That's the whole thing. And she said nothing about it. And in fact, it got even worse. During the Bush administration, prosecutors who refused to gin up voter fraud lies, the precursor to the big lie, were actually fired by the Bush administration, i.e., canceled. They were canceled because they wouldn't go along with that big lie. When Democrats investigated to find out the reason for the prosecutor purge, Cheney's father, Dick Cheney, architect of, again, the disastrous war in Iraq, in the Middle East, called it a witch hunt. Paul Weyrich, yes. He is the one, the Goo syndrome guy, by the way. And so these, when this was happening, when her daddy was going around purging prosecutors and then saying, oh, witch hunt, she was quiet. She stayed absolutely silent. So she enabled that big lie that Donald Trump then co-opted to use for himself as an excuse to why he lost an election after a disastrous COVID-19 pandemic. So that's what's going on. So I don't think she's a good standard bearer at all for the truth, especially for standing up to this one thing. What she's doing, in my view, is setting up her own political ascendancy. You know, maybe a primary challenge or not a primary challenge, but a challenge for the Republican nomination, almost a Democratic nomination, which wouldn't surprise me either with how this is going. Weird Freudian slip there. But no, I think that what she's doing is trying to set up her own ascendancy, as well as trying to save her own party from irrelevance. She knows that Donald Trump was going to take the party down with him. Hell, Lindsey Graham knew before he became a Trump sycophant. He said that, you know, if we nominate Donald Trump, we're going to go down with him. And guess what? The party would deserve it. True. And now, again, Lindsey Graham is one of the biggest ass suckers on Donald Trump's behind that you can find. And so, and here's the thing, right? Trump ripped the mask off the party and showed America what the GOP actually is and what they believe. And guess what? The majority did not like what they saw. They didn't. And what Cheney wants to do is not to change anything. She wants to put the mask back on. And she wants conservatives to stop openly saying the things that they actually believe so loud. They want to get back to the coded language. They want to get back to, oh, no, we don't say that out loud. No. We actually enact policies that make Black people's lives harder and make it so it's harder for them to vote. But we're not going to be like, N-word this, N-word that, which is what the Republican Party wants to do. And so understand that this is what this is about, okay? Trying to make sure that she still has a party to be into, because overall, when it comes to policy positions, the Republican Party serves the rich. It serves the rich. It serves their donors. It serves them incredibly well. And they want to keep it that way. By the way, the Republican Party right now is putting out the message that they're, and this is what's disturbing, that they could not really, they can't lose. Well, you think, well, that's insane. They lost presidency, they lost the House, and they barely lost the Senate. What do you mean, the message of they can't lose? Well, their message is, we can't lose because if we do, it's fraud. It's illegitimate. Those people are not Americans. Those people aren't real voters. They're dead voters. We actually won. We're the real winners. So even if we lose, we still win because everything is complete and utter fraudulent. That is their message. And by the way, this is the same thing that Republicans have believed since at least 2008, when President Obama won his first term. The result of that was the birther movement. That birther movement, oh, President Obama is a secret Kenyan Muslim jihadist communist atheist, illegitimate president. Yes. And you know what's funny? Not ironically, Donald Trump was one of the first adopters of birtherism, along with this Orly Tates person. So, and speaking of Trump, by the way, Trump also released a statement following Liz Cheney's ouster. Quote, Liz Cheney is a bitter, horrible human being. I watched her yesterday and realized how bad she is for the Republican Party. She's a warmonger whose family stupidly pushed us into the never-ending Middle East disaster, draining our wealth and depleting our great military. The worst decision in our country's history. I look forward to soon watching her as a paid contributor on CNN or MSDNC. Yes. Here's what's funny. Cheney is bitter and horrible. He's right about that. And guess what? He is too. He's also incredibly bitter about just about everything. In fact, his entire thing about, I won the election fraud, Democrats stole it. That's all bitter. That's all super bitter. So I guess it takes one to know one. That said, Donald Trump, no, he was for the Iraq war before he was against it. Let's just say that. And I don't think he arrived there, because of anything that was good. Okay, it's one of those things where it's, I don't know, A/B test the audience. Oh, everybody hates the Iraq war. Oh, I hate the Iraq war too. Instead of being against it when it was clear that what we were doing were killing civilians and doing ridiculous regime change wars. That said, I really hope the libs don't rehabilitate her or don't try. Oh, God, no. They already rehabilitated or tried to rehabilitate George W. Bush, this war criminal. Please, don't. Stop. Just let her be canceled by everybody. Just because she deserves it. Let her be canceled by Republicans. Let her be canceled by Democrats. Just let her be canceled. Please, let's not rehab war criminals. And speaking of war criminals, Donald Trump's done some pretty war criminal shit too. Let's not forget about killing Soleimani, dropping the Moab. Yeah. So let's just, cancel them both and move on. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.